I'm going to cut a ton of that out because we can't have your score be a freaking 5-minute long speech. Welcome back to the Alter Ego Bros. I'm Andy. That's Nick. And we're just two regular dudes doing regular reviews. And today, we're going to be reviewing the movie Weapons. Stay till the end of the video to check out our final ratings. And don't forget to like and subscribe and check us out on TikTok since YouTube hates small creators now. The story is about a small town that is thrown into chaos.
Wait. Hold up. I'm going to go out on a limb here. All right. I'm just going to say it. Can we both agree that this movie was a freaking banger?
Hey, we're supposed to wait till the end to hear our ratings.
Not this time. We're going to do something completely different. And we're going to tell you right off the bat, this movie was a banger.
Yeah, let's talk about why this is a banger. Because the first thing that I wanted to ask you about is why the fuck is this movie called Weapons?
Spoiler alert. They're turned into weapons, you moron.
Turned into weapons? They didn't do shit.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they attack, but like humans in general are just constant weapons. I don't think the term weapons is
it's
a
a
good
metaphor
term for this movie.
Oh, no.
And then the M16 in the air, like what the fuck was that all about?
Okay. Oh, boy. Woo! Okay. All right, kids. It's baby's first movie time. Somebody didn't get any part of the overall meaning that was going on.
No, I do get it.
School shootings in classrooms.
Never mind, I did not get it.
The classroom is empty, and the kids are a metaphor, and they're never coming back. Just like the kids who get shot up in schools by M16s. They're turned into weapons.
No, I did not actually get that metaphor. I missed that one. That's so obvious now.
There's a ton of different metaphors that you can take from this, meaning that you can take from this movie. It can all be interpreted in different ways as it's meant to. Well, I'll get into some of those later because I'll probably blow your mind with some of these things.
Yeah, maybe you will. Let me talk about a few things here that I wanted to at least go over real quick. So what I really want to focus on right now is just the way they told the story, focusing on a different person's perspective. And they did it in a chronological order where each person's perspective overlaid with the other person's perspective a little bit and then push the chronological order just a little bit further. So each person you saw, you got a little bit more and more of a hint as to what was going on. I really enjoyed that approach to this storytelling. And I wanted to say too, that has to be really tough for the actors. And I want to give kudos to them because you're doing this scene from this perspective, but then you may have to do the scene again from another perspective. So every movement you make, every single thing you say, you have to make sure you're consistent. You have to make sure it looks good from both different camera angles. There's a lot of creativity in this, and it takes a lot of planning and a lot of really true like dedication from everyone. So I just want to say camera work, acting, story, holy cow.
I love the way that they told this story. I love the POV change. I love the chapters that are going on. I thought that was really fun and really engaging. Cregger is the director. He really planned everything out to a T. It paid off in dividends. It was so fun to watch. I was engaged throughout. I love the little breadcrumbs sprinkled throughout. You could even see some of the characters when you're not introduced to them in point of views earlier on in the story, and you're like, they were there the whole time? What's going on? It was so fun.
Now's the point in time where I get really nitty-gritty detail oriented here. So this is the point where everyone leaves and I continue talking. So if you want to stay, make sure to like and subscribe. First of all, I want to talk about the special effects and the music here. I really want to focus on just the audio engineering with the special effects. The voice channels were on a mono channel and it was only ever in the front speaker. And so a lot of times there were just balance issues and I couldn't quite hear voiceovers as much when other sounds were going on. So I felt like that was weird. I thought at times too, when there was this narration moment, I wish you could feel encapsulated, but it just was just like one single speaker talking. I don't understand the audio design of this. It's maybe that was intentional. I don't know, but I didn't care for it. But what I do want to say is, even though like those moments were sometimes quiet, I want to point out the music. The music had a lot of moments where it just never played anything at all. But when it did play, it hit. As a musician myself, one of the first things I ever look for, I try to find where I shouldn't play. And it just felt like the music in this was very intentional about that. So it didn't play a lot, but when they didn't play, like that was just a very intentional decision. They weren't just being lazy or just decided, oh, let's just not have music here. There was something, I was sensing something. So I think there was something special about the music, despite there not being a whole lot of it. I'm sorry I bored you. Nick, what do you want to talk about?
No, I think you're right about the music. I felt the exact same way. I was listening for that. I didn't experience those audio issues specifically.
I didn't have trouble hearing it. I was just saying that the balance was off.
I didn't.
I don't know why I'm defending myself. No one gives a shit. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's all the interesting bits that Andy's not privy to, all right? Before the showing, we had a little giggle to ourselves about booking our tickets for this movie and seeing a showtime for 2:17. We're like, that's weird. What a strange time. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to send it. And I went to the 2:17 showing, and boy, did I make the right decision. So throughout the story, you learn that a lot of these events, or at least the big event of these children missing, happened at 2:17 a.m. And there is significance behind that number, although it's not in your face apparent. Do you know what the significance is?
I was just about to ask you, is there really real life significance behind that number? It wasn't just like a number that's decided in the movie?
There's real life significance and there's significance within the movie.
Because did it take like 2 minutes and 17 seconds for somebody to shoot up a school or something?
No. I mean, you're kind of on the same sort of trail, but not quite. So the 17 part is kind of taken from the Parkland shootings, where those were the 17 victims. 217 specifically, there was a bill in 2022 that passed the House of Representatives that was an assault rifle ban that passed with 217 votes. It did not make it to the Senate floor, and so it is not currently a law.
How was that close? That has nothing to do with time at all.
Well, no. It has. You were on the right trail with like it being a part of the shootings that happened. Like,
gotcha. Okay.
That was the right sort of headspace. In the movie, though, it's a ratio. There's 17 kids missing. There's 2 people a part of that classroom who are still there.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
But trying to find a meaning deeper within that, I'm sure there's many more. A lot from what I have read, other people who are discussing this, some of them quote like Bible verses and stuff of this that might have play into what the movie's going for. I think that's a bit of a reach, but I also think that's what 217 is supposed to do. It's supposed to get you thinking about it because it's very odd and it's shown periodically throughout the movie. So it's there to get you thinking. There's so many meanings. One of the things I really enjoyed about this movie is that all the main characters that you see the point of view from have flaws. It's like the teacher doesn't really have good boundaries. The construction worker dad is kind of obsessing about this and pointing his anger at the wrong people. And then you've got the cops who are just kind of like sitting on their ass the entire time until you've got the one cop who kind of stumbles his way ineptly into the main story. So you have all of these different things going on throughout the day, throughout the town, and they finally start overlapping. And that's when you're hit with the rest of the supernatural weirdness that happens. And I would say this is probably right at the peak of Act 2. And then the movie follows this through line throughout the rest of the runtime. And you're just taken on a ride that I don't think anybody ever saw coming. I think the marketing for this movie finally did a brilliant job of not letting you know what's going on and not spoiling any part of this movie, which that's like a diamond in the rough these days. Like most of the time you see end stuff in the trailer and you're like, oh, well, the movie's spoiled. And the last thing I want to hit on real quick is the villain. Wow, was she fun to watch. Like, there's so much mystery behind her and her backstory, where she comes from, what the heck she's doing. But at the same time, you get these little hints of things that are said in conversation about she's done this before. She's the witch that everybody's looking for. And she's freaking old. And all of that just kind of lends to the lore of this area and gets people's minds going and thinking and wondering about every single little detail. And that's the type of movie I love to see, the type of movie I love to support. And I I have so many great things to say about this movie. It was fun. It was gripping and dark and menacing at times. Like when you're first introduced in the movie through different sequences, you have no idea what this character is. You're like, I've never seen that before in my life. It's almost like a funny jump scare kind of thing. You're like, what the heck is that? You know? And then it starts being revealed just slowly. That curtain gets pulled back and you learn more and more. And then you're like, oh, this shit is evil. This is some real bad stuff.
Yeah, now that you've enlightened me on the real life meaning behind this movie, when I think of the witch and her first time you see her and she's got caked makeup, it reminded me of the Joker. I'm like, why does she look like the Joker? Well, the Joker is also symbolism for mental health. So maybe that is the tie there, because mental health is the leading cause for a lot of these school shootings.
You got it. On the flip side, you get dialogue from Gladys, who is that's that character's name, and she uses the word consumption as a disease. Now, that was what people called tuberculosis back in like the 17th and 18th
You're like
centuries.
The lore master over here. What the fuck?
You're talking like 200-300 years ago. But what was fashionable at that time as well, the heavy makeup, the powdered wigs.
Maybe she's like 300 years old.
Exactly. That's my theory anyways. But it's also used as a weapon to disarm her victims, along with her confidence. And we see that play out when she interacts with the principal.
Lore.
It's so much. I was just absorbing all of this movie. It's funny too. We haven't talked about that, but the director is from The Whitest Kids You Know, so he is a comedian first. This movie is funny, and for me, that did not detract from the story. It just kind of hits you there. And you're like, wow, this bad stuff is happening, but I'm also laughing at the same time.
So I didn't consider the movie funny. The way it ended was a comedy ending, and I was like, what? That felt so random and out of place. I did not appreciate the ending. Here, I am gonna say this. We gotta wrap this up here because it seems like you could talk about it all day long.
I really could.
I do want to say there seems to be something between telling some historical events through a horror movie that seems to work really well, because that worked fantastic with Sinners and it worked fantastic with Weapons. Yes. With that said, let's get into our ratings and recommendations here. I initially had this scored as a 9 out of 10. I docked a point for the special effects just because of the audio. But the more that you've enlightened me, those audio effects, when you hear somebody talking like the little girl narrating, I think it's intentional to be quiet and like soft and just innocent sounding and just like a solo person. That's why it doesn't sound like you're surrounding. It's just a single little girl. Now I rescind what I had said earlier. I think that was very much intentional. So I'm okay with bumping that back up, and I'm just going to give this a 10 out of 10 because I genuinely loved every single thing else about this movie.
10 out of 10 all day. I would have given it bonus points if I wasn't already at a 10 out of 10. No brainer for me. I was catching all these things. I actually really enjoyed the ending, which is kind of surprising to myself because I did not enjoy when that happened in like 28 years later or Eddington that we watched earlier this summer. But
I'm going to cut a shit ton of that out because we can't have your score be a freaking 5-minute long speech. All right, for the two people that are still here, both Nick and Andy, who are watching this at this point, that is a combined channel score of 10 out of 10, obviously, sitting right at the top. I'm very okay with that one. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for sticking all the way through to the end with us. We really appreciate it. And remember, we're just two regular dudes
doing regular reviews.
When I went into this movie, I was like, man, I don't remember shit.